it's Melissa. Welcome back to my channel. I am going to be looking down at my notes that just consist of telling me what I'm supposed to be talking about, what the questions are for the open collaboration. The open collaboration is hosted by Kinderd Gathering, and the hashtag for that is Homeschoolroots. So if you want to go to Instagram or YouTube and just search for the Homeschoolroots, all the videos for that should pop up. So this is week 2, the why, and it is why we chose homeschooling, like why we chose this type of lifestyle. And the reality is we didn't originally plan to. I always wanted to be home with my kids, but we needed the money. So I worked and my husband worked, and then we had my son, and he's our second child, and it was just a lot harder to go back to work. So to make up for the lack of income at my corporate job, we went ahead and opened a daycare, which I talked a lot about this in my first video, so I'm sorry if it's repeat information. We opened the daycare, and then, I mean, it was okay. Around here, I had all my certifications, I followed all the rules, and it's very expensive to continue with your continuing education. And people didn't really want to pay what it cost to keep the daycare open. So I was losing money every year that I had it open, which was a struggle, but I didn't want to give up leaving my son. So I kept with it. And in a way, COVID was a blessing. It made it so I ended up closing my daycare. It made it so we ended up pulling my daughter from public school. And she had been in public school since she was 3 in early childcare. So she'd been in school for about 3.5 years when I pulled her, but she was only in 4K when we pulled her in March of 2020. So it would have been her 2019-2020 school year. And she was still technically enrolled through the end of that year for her public school, only because she was in pre-K and they were doing everything on this app on the phone. So they would send us send in a picture of her doing this or that. So I would have her do those things and I would send the picture. But at the same time, I had gone to the Dollar Tree and I had pulled like the daily starters and the ABCs and like anything I could find. And I used teachers to pay teachers a lot to enhance what they were providing for us. Because like most public school teachers, they had no idea it was happening. They didn't know how to transfer a 4K curriculum to a 100% online platform. 4K students didn't have tablets or laptops, and the only way to get to the parents when they got closed off immediately was using the app that they had been using to send us photos of what the kids were doing during the day. So that's what they had done. And then in kindergarten, I had decided that I did not want her on a computer screen all day long, and I did not want her in the school system with the potential of getting sick. I had a young son and I was pregnant with our 3rd child, and I didn't want to risk getting sick. So we pulled her from school and I bought a customized elite kindergarten or Timberdoodle kindergarten kit. And then I also purchased the Tiny Tot and the preschool one for my son, and those are both in the basement. Well, the preschool one's in the basement because he's not ready for it yet. But we highly use the Tiny Tot one for him now. We didn't really though when I first got it. It was kind of one of those things that I wasn't sure if I should have bought because we didn't use it right away, but it was really awesome and I really liked it. But I did end up, sorry, I got my legs falling asleep. He is using all the pieces now and she is loving it. So that's kind of why we chose this lifestyle. I don't know if that really answered that question. I'm sorry. Why we feel called to homeschool, I think I kind of answered that as well. It worked for us that first year. I saw my daughter in places where she was kind of getting in trouble in school, where she wasn't wanting to sit and do things. I had placement tested her for math UC and language arts, math and language arts with the Timberdoodle placement test. And she placed higher in math, so we got her the first grade math kit for her kindergarten year. and she was not as proficient in language arts as she should have been, but I went ahead and went with the All About Reading Level 1, which is suggested for the kindergarten kit, and I kind of wish I had gone back to All About Reading the pre-reader. I don't know if that would have helped or not. She knew her ABCs, she knew all the letter names, she knew almost all the letter sounds, but for some reason All About Reading just didn't stick with her. But the that was a little bit of a tangent. I'm sorry, I'll stop all that now. The reason we called to homeschool though was so we could customize that information for my daughter. We wanted to customize her education to her, not try to make her work around the education. So I know with my dyslexia in school, I had to find ways to make what they were giving me work for me and still excel in school, which I managed to do. I was a 3.0 student and I graduated college with high honors, and I was working on my master's when I decided to stay at home with my kids. So it can be done, but I know how hard I had to struggle, and I don't want that for my daughter. I also realized that with her being ahead in math, I didn't want to hold her back. I wanted her to excel where she could and provide her a customized education for her needs. So I went into this planning on being a secular homeschooler, and we use the good and the beautiful for language arts because it fits her needs. I still plan on secular homeschooling in any other way I can, but I will use what works, regardless of its religious or not religious content. I will just change what I have to. The reason and purpose for our family. Some of the other reason we homeschool that I didn't realize at first that I found very helpful since is that my husband works a lot. He's either working or he is in school, or he is doing something for the volunteer fire department, or he's doing something for one of the other departments, other fire departments about an hour or two north of us. And he works for a fire department, he works for a racetrack about 3 hours north of us as a firefighter as well. So he's busy and he's gone a lot. But that means my kids don't see him very often. And when she was in public school, she's a night owl. It is currently 12:30 because it's easier to film these when everybody's asleep. And she didn't go to bed until about 11:30, and she's always been like that. She doesn't settle well at night, and she never has. But that means she doesn't get up very early either. So the school year was really hard on us. She was always tired. I could make her go to bed at 8 and she'll be popping out of her room every hour, or she'll just lay in there and stare at the ceiling. Like, she just doesn't fall asleep. But then once she's asleep, she'll sleep until 9 in the morning. So that's what we do now. I tell her to go to bed. Her bedtime's 8. She knows that. She goes right to her room at 8 o'clock. And then she usually is still awake until about 11. She just kind of lays there. She pops out every now and then. She'll come out for one snack and one drink, and then she'll lay back down. And then she usually falls asleep about 10, 11, and then she will get up around 9. And that works a lot better than trying to wake her up at 6 to go to school, because the bus comes at 7 or 7:15. And then she's got an hour bus ride where she's falling asleep. And then she's got, which is ridiculous because school starts at 8 and school is 15 minutes away, and for some reason that poor kid was on the bus for almost an hour every morning falling asleep, and she was on the bus for almost an hour coming home every day, and she was exhausted and she was tired, and that was so unfair to her. And I like it this way a lot more, where I can just let her go to sleep when she wants. Well, not when she wants, but she sleeps and then she wakes up when she wants. I do not wake her up unless we have to go somewhere. I let her sleep. She is 6. Her brain is still developing. She needs to sleep. And that's kind of the why we homeschool. If you have any questions about that, or comments about why we do anything or want to know more, please let me know in the comments below. As always, I typically do homeschooling, motherhood, lifestyle videos, lots of flip throughs of our Timberdoodle kits because that's what I use, so that's what I'm going to show you. If you have any questions about those, please leave your comment in the comments below. Go ahead and hit the subscribe and like button if you want to see future videos. As always, have a great day. Bye.